Hi guys, I'm Shahzad and welcome in this video. Today we're gonna discuss about the grid system in Bootstrap 5. So we're gonna give you some ideas about the grid system. The simplest idea that you have a same code and you are going to execute the same code in every device. So let's get started. Hi guys, I'm Shahzad and welcome to lecture number 24. Today we are going to discuss about the grid systems. How can you use the grid systems? And you know very well that if you need the responsive website, that means if you have a one code and you want to execute your one code on entire devices like any tab, any smartphone or any laptop, so you have to use the grid systems. Okay, now we have discussed about the components and some utilities in our previous lectures, and also we have discussed about the containers. So basically we have two types of containers. We mostly use these two type of containers. If you click on the layout, you have the containers. If you click on the layout, you have a grid systems. So you can also read the entire documentations here. It's up to you. But we are going to explain each and everything out of the box. As you can see, they are saying grid system, use our powerful mobile first flexbox grid to build layout, blah 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 blah. Okay, so we are going to explain that how can you do that. Since we have created a video for NiceHash and also for mining, so that's why it was working. It was running. Okay, now as you can see, we have container and we have some elements. Okay, so you have to keep your container inside your row. You have to keep your row inside, you have to keep your row inside your container, and you have to keep your columns inside your row, and you have to keep your any element, either it's h1, p1 or image or any type of element, HTML element, inside your columns. So for the better understanding, let's have an example, or let's take an example. I'm saying I have a container and I'm saying I'm going to define a row in a container. Okay, fine. I'm saying this is the row. That means it's a class named row. Now I'm saying that I'm just using call for. And now I'm saying h3 and I'm saying welcome. Fine, I'm going to define 3 columns in a single row. So now go to the page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's working fine. Let's create the border, and here is a border, and here is a border. So okay, now I'm saying I'm going to margin top 5. Fine. So as you can see, you have 3 columns now in a single row. But if you create a 4th column in a single row, what happens? Refresh the page. As you can see, it's pulling your 4th column to here. Okay, that means you have to define the 12 columns in a single row. So this is a rule. So as you can see, this is your 4th column. This is your 4th column. This is your 4th column. So 4 plus 4, 8 and 4, 12. So this is the 12 combinations of a 4 column, and we are using these 12 columns in a single row. Let's suppose if you need the 2 columns in a single row, you have to define the 6, 6. Okay, now go to the page, refresh the page. If you use the 8 for this one, definitely it will pull your element or the column. So every row must have the 12 columns. Now, if you want to define another row, you have to copy or you have to create another row in a container. And now I'm saying this is my 2nd row, and here I have to define the columns. Whatever columns you need. Let's suppose now you need a 12 column. I'm saying call 12. And now I'm saying h3 or h2. I'm saying this is single column. Refresh the page. I have to place the border here. for the better understanding. I'm saying I'm using the margin empty 5, margin top 5. So now as you can see, you have a second row. In a second row, you have created a column, 12th column. Let's suppose if you are creating 8th column, then what happens? So now as you can see, it's showing you the 8th column, but you still have a space for another column. Let's suppose if you are defining a column for 4, so 8 plus 4 equals to 12. So now as you can see, it's still working fine. Let's suppose if you need the column, 12 column, and the combination is 2, so 2 plus 2 is 8. So you need columns, several columns for 2 combinations. Let's suppose I'm saying this is 2 and this is 2. Sorry, 2. So 4 plus 8 and plus. Okay, now as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so since you are using the 12 columns, sorry, 2 columns combinations, so 2 multiplied by 6, 12. Okay, so in this way you can create your columns. Okay, according to the documentations, they have small, medium, large, extra large, and extra large. Why they are saying this one? Since we are using the column here, that means we are saying that execute these column on every device, like on laptop, on small devices like iPhone 6, 7, or any type of screen. Just execute these 2 columns. Okay, if we use separate code for separate device, let's suppose I'm saying this is the row, and now I'm saying call MD, I'm saying 4, and here I'm saying H2, welcome to another column. Okay, now I'm saying I have now 4 columns, so I'm saying just execute. So as you can see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to use the border for better understanding. So border, copy this one and paste this one here, sorry, and also use the border here. We have discussed about the borders in previous lectures. So now you have the borders. I'm saying, sorry, margin top, top 5. Fine. So you have 4 columns, 4 plus 4, 4 plus 4. So these are the 12 columns in a single row. But in this case, I am saying use these 4 columns only in medium devices. So this code won't work in large or any device. Let's suppose if you have an extra small device. So as you can see, it's now showing you this one. But if I add that for extra small or SM device, sorry, call SM, for SM device, just use this as a 6 column. So 6 column, 6 column, and now 6 column. So go to the page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, this is the small device, and now as you can see, it's pulling your third one from right to the bottom. Why? Because in a single row you are saying that 6 plus 6 equals to 12. So now in a small device you have a 12 columns, it's completed, and in the same row you also have a small 6 columns. So that's why it's pulling you from right to the bottom. Okay, let's suppose if you are saying that if you run the same script in an extra small device, let's suppose I'm saying SM, sorry, access. Let's suppose if I'm saying if I run this in the large call LG, I'm saying 12. if this code works on large device, or if you want to execute this script in a large device, then what happens? As you can see, this is the small, it's working fine. If you expand this one, so now as you can see, this is the medium device, and if you just now, as you can see, now it's showing you the 12 column for the large device. Since it's a 32 inches screen, so that's why it's showing you the 12 column. But if you just use this one, let's suppose, fine, I have a tool. Let's suppose if you run the same code in a iPad, so now as you can see, it's showing you the 12 column. If you run the same code in iPhone 6, as you can see, 12. If you run the iPhone, I don't know why it's not working, Chrome code not, it's saying something like that. But definitely if you execute this one in a small devices, it always works. So in this way you can manage your classes, or you can manage your columns. So go to the grid system. As you can see, we have discussed about the small, medium, large classes. So now as you can see, auto layout columns. So equal columns, so they are using for equals column call for the equal columns. Since we are using the call to, why? Because we are saying divide the two columns for every device. For equal column, so now as you can see, if you use the 2, it's automatically executing, or the Bootstrap 5 knows that if you are using the 2 columns in a single row, as you can see, it's showing you here like this. And now if you define the 3 columns, it's automatically using the 3 columns combinations. So just copy this bad boy, or just I'm going to take an example for better understanding. I'm saying row. If I use the column here, I'm saying call. Now I'm saying h1 welcome, just define 2 columns. Now go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's dividing your screen into 2. Let's suppose 6 to 50, 50%. Okay, now if you just use 3rd column, so now as you can see, it's defining the 3rd column here. Okay, for better understanding, you have to use margin top 5, and also the border, and the border, and also the border. Okay, now as you can see 3. If you define 4th one, as you can see, it's dividing your row in 4th column. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You just define. So Bootstrap is smart. It's automatically detecting that if you have a single column, it will divide, or it will add only a 12 column. So it's up to you how can you manage this one. You can also use the this concept called 12. You can also use this concept, and you can also use this concept. It's up to you how can you use that. So now setting 1 column. So as you can see, this is call. That's why it's showing you in a 1 column. So call 6 and call. So this is a 6 column, and this is 3, and this is 3. So that's why it's showing you. If you use the mix-up, like if you're defining the call 6 in a single row. So single row, as you can see. Okay, let's zoom it. Single row, 3 columns available in a single row. You are using the call, and call 6. Now Bootstrap automatically detecting that since you are using the 6th column for your middle column, so that's why this is a 6th column, and this is a 3 columns. If you use call 5, it's automatically dividing your columns equally. Okay, so now you can use justifies, responsive, breakpoints. Okay, we'll discuss about these ones in our later lectures. So we have discussed that call 6 and call MD, so they are using the same concept. And also you can use the row calls. Why? Let's suppose if you are saying you always use 2 columns for every row. So as you can see, if you define row calls to, as you can see, one column. Since you are defining the 4 column here, it's automatically saying, or it's automatically executing your script. So 2 columns. Just copy this bad boy and paste this one here. Sorry, here. Refresh the page. As you can see, 2 2 2 2. Okay, let's suppose if you are saying 3, then definitely 1 2 3. If you are saying 4, it's automatically managed your 4. Okay, so this is a container at saying call row calls 3, fine, and fine. A lot of examples already available here. So if you are using the nesting, so how can you do that? And also these are the SAS layers. Okay guys, so this is the concept of the grid system. In the next video, we're gonna discuss about the columns and some other kind of functionalities available in the grid system. So thank you for watching.